ChatGPT a good place to get local real estate information? Well, if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I do think that AI is a tool of Satan himself. And so I pretty much stay away from it. But when this question came up to me, I said, well, let me just see what I can find out. And I was asked this question on the heels of having been at a delightful Christmas lunch with my real estate office, where a friend of mine walked up and asked how real estate was. And I said, well, it depends, because some areas are better than others, and that's just how markets go when they're stabilizing. And he said, oh, well, X agent said that it's hot and on fire. And I looked at one of my agents and thought, I'm not sure that his agent friend is seeing the data in the market in the same way that I am, because as we all know, real estate is not a set quantity. It is very subjective until you're the seller or the buyer. It's a very strange space. And I've got to drive this point home to y'all. We in real estate are dealing with a high value item, but it is not a commodity item, because houses, while at a high value, are imbued with emotion, and people have feelings about their real estate that they don't have about their electronics or even their vehicle. So it's a different space. And if you list a house and you price it on the lower end of the spectrum and it is in drop dead gorgeous condition, yes, people are going to fight over it, which happened even during the Great Recession when the markets were in shambles. Some houses still sold quickly because the best houses always sell quickly. However, if you have that beautifully conditioned house and you've priced it at the higher end of the range that we're dealing with, it may still take some time to sell. That's why we'll always tell you that it depends if the market's hot or not. I don't make blanket statements. I mean, I'll also point this out. During the height of the COVID markets, when it seemed like every house had a bid more, there were still some houses that took a week to sell instead of a few minutes, because they were on a main drag, backed up to a power line, or had really terrible condition. It's never uniform, y'all. But all that being said, I opened up ChatGPT to be like all you cool kids, and I said, this is the question I asked: is the real estate market hot in Cabarrus County, North Carolina in December 2024? Figuring there are probably some data points as you get towards the end of any month or as you look back a month. And here is what ChatGPT said. First of all, it said, searching the web. Okay, now I do have questions about which part of the web they're searching, because I know that Google is pretty biased in how they look at information, and there's some people in the background that tell it what to think. Just saying, y'all. And I don't know where on the web they searched. Do they go to the dark web? I don't know where the dark web is, but I have an 18-year-old son. He probably knows the dark web. Do they go to Reddit? Because Reddit is officially the dumpster fire of the internet. So is that where they got their real estate information? I do not know. ChatGPT did not tell, which is why I do think it is a tool of Satan. So it says, as of December 2024, the real estate market in Cabarrus County, North Carolina exhibits moderate activity with some indicators of cooling compared to previous periods. All right, as a 25-year Cabarrus County real estate professional, I can confirm that we have moderate activity. And I think moderate is a really great word for it, because if you're in a great neighborhood, a hot zip code, the best school zone, and your house is priced appropriately and it is conditioned appropriately, you're going to have a lot of activity. And a great house that is not a great deal, but it's a good deal, is going to have some activity. So it all depends on the house compared to previous periods. Look, how funny is that, y'all? If they're talking about 12 months prior in December 2023, it was cool then. 2022, cool then. 2021, much hotter. 2020, much hotter. 2019, pre-COVID. Who even remembers 2019? So you have a lot of different previous periods to which we might be comparing. And look, if we're comparing this to 2010, which was not a fun time to be in real estate, oh, it's way more better than back then. So it says the median sale price, they gave November 2024 and said the median sales price was $388, reflecting a 2.9% increase from the same period last year. Can confirm we're still up in prices. Why? Because North Carolina is an importer of people because of our jobs and the general awesomeness of our state. Average home value in Cabarrus County at $376, $367, a 2% rise over the past year. Can also confirm, however, if you are selling a house that you purchased about 12 months ago, your value may go down because the amount of rise depends on when you are selling, y'all. So if you bought that house 20 years ago, it should be up by most measures. But 20 months ago, it depends on what kind of bidding war you were in. Now, days on market is a very interesting one because ChatGPT says it's a median of 27 days. That's not right. And that's one of the reasons that you want to call somebody who's got access to great information through sources like the multiple listing service, which is where realtors share information. And then it gets populated and shared out into the great wide world. If the realtors and the real estate professionals who use the multiple listing service suddenly stop using it and we don't have a repository of data, what are we going to use, y'all? I mean, that's a fair question to ask your real estate professional. Are you committed to the best data source available for real estate, which is the multiple listing service? I frankly wouldn't hire some real estate pro that was not committed to making sure the data is as robust as possible. But 27 days, that's actually not true. Now, maybe that on the web specific data point was a neighborhood, a little tiny area. But when I looked at all of Cabarrus County, I'm pulling a number that is far closer to 3 months than 27. So that's a difference in how you play your pricing strategy and how you play your landing strategy, y'all, because where you sell has a lot to do with where you buy, and the timing of those two aspects is wildly related to the days on market, which also means if you're hiring a real estate pro and they don't know days on market, be very concerned, because if they're in the door saying, you better be packed up and let's get somewhere to go because it's going to sell overnight, well, they might be giving you the pitch from 20 and 21, when right now I do talk to my potential sellers about where you're going to land, how are we going to time it, how are we going to work it out. But I also let them know it may take 3 months to sell, but it may take 2, it may take 1. A good real estate pro understands that those are very, very fluid and elastic situations. And the last thing it added here as a data point is that Cabarrus County has approximately 2.56 months of housing inventory, indicating a seller's market, which is kind of funny because the data we use in real estate when you go back over historic decades is that 6 months is a balanced market. But they might be right here that the general metric of the past has moved and that a balanced market looks different because we're also dealing with different interest rates than we were 10 and 20 years ago. It does note that the inventory has increased, which indicates more options for buyers and also means as a seller, you have more competition. Long story short, there's some interesting data points here, but you always want to talk to your local real estate professional because we have the color commentary on different neighborhoods, different builders, different zip codes, different school zones, different proximity to highways and employers. So we're going to help you understand the data all the way down the rabbit hole so you can make the best choice for you. And when you're selling, you want us to know all of those same data points. We can help you put together a plan. I wouldn't use ChatGPT to sell my house. I also would make sure that my realtor knows more than ChatGPT. So maybe, just maybe, AI becomes the baseline for knowing if you found somebody who is all in for the profession and somebody who's not. Fair question to ask.